Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Alex Lopez Talks on the Alex Lopez Rocks YouTube channel. Joining me today is the amazing, phenomenal Josh Wildhorn. Josh, thank you so much. Josh, thank you so much for joining me, man. Big fan of what you do. You're in been in some really awesome projects. You're a part of Repose and Dragged Under. And for our audience who's kind of new to it, he was also one of the other members of that band is also a YouTube personality in their own right, Ryan Fluff Bruce. So if those names Repose and Dragged Under sound familiar, that's from where you've probably heard it. As well as
Josh had Jared too. Jared
oh
Dines.
My goodness, you're right. It had Jared Dines in it too. So it was like this whole awesome collection of YouTube rockers and metalers, man. Really cool. And you're now in designer disguise.
Yeah. I was in designer disguise before Rest, Repose, and Dragged Under. That's been kind of the
that's see, I did not know that. I learned something new every day. I love it. And like for people who are just learning about you, I got to tell you, if you want to see, click and subscribe on Josh's channel, by the way, on YouTube. It's fantastic. But if you're interested to see some of the stuff, the production work that he's done with these bands as well, it's phenomenal. I'm telling you, man. I'm trying not to fanboy out just because I only got into Dragged Under and Repose in the last couple of years, but it was just seeing the way you play and then seeing the videos that you guys put together, just where you guys were just jamming out. It's amazing. So it's
thank you so much.
It's really cool.
I can only take 20% of the credit for all that, because I mean there's so many other incredibly talented dudes involved. Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Now, what was it that kind of got you into this kind of sound and playing music in general?
I've been doing music basically as long as I can remember. My parents signed me up for music lessons as early as they could, because I was that annoying kid that was I had pots and pans and I was banging on them with chopsticks, or I had this little toy keyboard at some point that somebody gave me when I was 2 or 3. I was just obviously I wasn't making music at that point. It was just kind of noise. But yeah, my parents were I think this kid wants to do music, and so they, as early as they could, I signed up for piano lessons. I played piano for a while. I played clarinet for a while. So when I was a teenager, I was playing clarinet in an orchestra.
Oh wow!
And we did an orchestral rendition of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yep.
And we got somebody to come up and rip the guitar solo on the guitar, and I was like,
"That's awesome!
Yo, that's the instrument I want to play. That's so cool."
Oh man, I love that playing clarinet. Nope, that's it.
He's just fucking. It's a legendary solo, and he killed it. And I was just that's so much cooler. I want to do that.
I love it, man. I love it. So would you say that was kind of that aha moment for you? That was kind of what kind of switched you from clarinet to guitar?
I think so, because I had been listening to rock and punk and all that music too, but I guess for me it was playing music is this thing that I do after school. It's fun, but it's whatever. But then I saw okay, I'm playing guitar now, and I started playing guitar, and that's when it really took over.
Nice. Yeah, there's once you're playing there and you get this sensation, you kind of know.
This is my voice in music. I want to play guitar.
I love it, man. That's awesome. Now, you also play, by the way, for our audience, you also play bass, because you're playing bass in Rest, Repose, right?
Yeah. There are separate instruments with a separate set of skills, but a lot of the guitar skills are transferable to bass. So I guess I was definitely still a guitar player playing bass.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can play bass. I can kind of mess around on drums.
Yeah. It's
I feel
awesome.
like most instruments I can kind of like pick up and do something with, except for like some very specific, like I don't know, woodwinds. Like I still don't know how to make a sound into like a flute. Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I mean, there's MIDI for that nowadays too. So.
Or exactly, yeah. Can play keyboard, can play anything.
Yeah.
That's literally, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, how do I make that? Oh, I've got this, I've got this electric harmonics orchestra that it's, tape delay thing, that the Mel 9, because it's like, I can't
Yeah.
play strings, or I mean, I can play guitar and light bass, but I'm not a multi-instrumentalist. So
I mean, you get GarageBand that comes with every Mac, and it has like all of the virtual instruments. You can literally play it on like the laptop keyboard. Like, no, you don't even have to get a MIDI keyboard.
yeah.
There's like, you can just pull up the window where you can like tap the letter keys,
Yep.
and it converts it to the music notes. Like, all you need is a computer to make music these days.
Yeah. And
It's so sick.
yeah, there's so much you can do with technology. I mean, I would say it's easier and still very challenging, because it's like there's so much you can do that sometimes it takes a little time to lock it in to find that right voicing for yourself nowadays.
Right.
With modern musicians,
Yeah.
because like it's funny, when I was growing up, and I'm guessing this was like with you, it's like there was, like recording at home, and the DIY stuff was a lot more limited to like maybe like a tape recorder and early like computer use. But nowadays it's like you can do stuff on an iPad or even on just your
Yeah.
phone, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm old enough that I started on a 4-track recorder. Uh, like
Me too.
it was digital. Like I think it was like an SD card or something,
Yeah.
or whatever it was. So I wasn't messing around with tape or anything, but I did start without a computer.
Yeah, same here. I had one of those. I think it was a Boss, where it was like a 4-track or an 8-track, and it's like you just plug everything in, and you had those old like thick floppy disks.
Right, right.
Yeah, so that
Yeah,
was my
yeah.
introduction to home do-it-yourself recording.
Right. I think I had like I probably had like a couple next generations of that, but it's basically the
Yeah,
same idea.
yeah,
I have to like record this one thing, like mix it all together, and then record another thing, mix it all together onto the other 2 tracks, and yeah,
awesome.
it's a
Now,
lot more work.
um, we talk. What were some of like those influences for you to like kind of help shape your sound? Like, was there any bands or artists?
Yeah, so I guess when I was a kid, I had a little tape player in my room, and I had 2 cassettes that I played on repeat, which is Led Zeppelin 4 and The Doors self-titled.
Nice.
I listened to those albums so many times.
So good. And the thing is, it's like they're both like mega bands, but they were also like from that era of the 70s. Those are probably like 2 out of my 3 favorite bands, were the Doors. And
Legendary.
absolutely, like the Doors did something that other bands weren't doing at the time. It's like you had a drummer, a keyboard or electronic pianist, a poet, and a guitar player who was used to playing classical music and Spanish classical music on an electric guitar.
Yeah. I
It was
mean,
really cool.
that's still basically what I'm trying to do these days. It's like electronic music with like rock, but like very, yeah, just I guess a poet is a good way to put it. Just like a lot of meaning in the lyrics,
Yeah.
and yeah. It's funny. I hadn't really thought about it until now, but yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to do with my band now.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. And you're doing a great job with it too, man. You got the bands, like I said, the bands that you've been in have been fantastic. And you actually you reminded me, because I completely forgot that Jared Dines was a part of Repose with you and Fluff.
I mean, he
Uh,
started it with Fluff.
yeah,
I joined very late in that band.
but then I'm hearing the stuff like in Dragged Under, and those riffs that Fluff came together with were amazing. Like that, those like, I think it was Ready for War was the first single
Here
that you
for
guys
War.
put out. Yeah.
Fearful War. That's the first song that I wrote. That is the one Dragged Under song that I can actually take all the credit for.
And by the way,
I wrote that whole thing.
So, spoiler alert, that's my favorite song on the album too.
Oh, dude, thank you.
Yeah. Like when I heard that, I'm like, this song is insane. I love it. It is like it's got a great riff. It's got an awesome build-up. Like it keeps you elevated and going, man. It's like it's insane. So I'm glad I'm talking to the right guy.
Yeah, I mean all the other ones I had at least a little bit of a hand in. Like that's the only one that I was like that one I wrote, but everything else it was just like we were, because I mean when we were writing the like most of what became the first Dragged Under record, it was going to be the next Rest Repose album.
Yeah.
And it was like we were in the studio, we booked the studio, we were like, all right, we're writing the next Rest Repose album. And I think it was like 2 or 3 days in the studio. It was me, Fluff, Tony, and our producer Hiram, who actually honestly deserves like the majority of the credit for making most of that music happen. And then we were in the studio writing, and Jared and Chris the drummer, were supposed to show up at some point. We weren't sure when, but we just got a call, and it was like, I think it was Jared that left. I forget who left first, but basically in like within a day, they both quit the band.
Oh wow.
Jared was like, I don't want to be in a touring band anymore. I just want to focus on like staying home and being a YouTuber. And it was like, yeah, totally, dude. You're wildly successful at that.
Yeah,
do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Chris, being the super talented drummer and audio engineer that he is, he was like, I want to move to LA and pursue like being a front of house engineer and just go to the next step in my life. And I was like, yeah, sure, we support you. But it was just kind of like the three of us left in the studio being like, all right, well let's keep writing. And at the end, Fluff, being the icon that he is, he has a lot of he just like he has friends in places, and he just kind of like starts shooting stuff out. Like check out these demos that we wrote, they're pretty cool. We were like, yo, this is some, we're hitting like a different point of music here.
Yeah,
like I mean clearly from afterwards, we didn't really know what was going to happen, but it was like, these tunes are different. These aren't Rest Repose songs. We were still going to put them out as Rest Repose, but then it was Bert from The Used, who ended up taking us out on tour last year or 2 years ago. Was like, you guys need to change your name. And up until then, we were like, nah, we're not changing the name. We don't want to start over. We're not changing the name. And then he said that. I was like, okay, I guess we'll change the name.
Yeah.
And that's when it became Dragged Under. We were just like, all right, I guess we'll start over. This is completely different music. Half of the band is going to be different at this point. Let's just start over.
I mean, and and I credit you guys with doing that, because sometimes it's very hard to let go of something that's familiar with a lot of artists. Like sometimes people will be like, well, no, I mean, like I came up with the band name, I wrote the majority of the songs, why should I just scrap everything and start over? And you guys took a chance on your own talent and on yourselves and said, you know what, this doesn't fit what we used to be anymore. We've got this new identity, let's just put a new name out there with it. And that's so right. And you guys knocked it out of the park, man. You guys were touring with The Used all over the country, and this was pre-pandemic. That was so fun. Yeah,
dude. I sometimes every once in a while I like kind of remember exactly what happened, because it's wild. We got back like I think it was March 2nd or 3rd, 2020, from like a month and a half of touring, and before that we were at NAMM. And before NAMM, I was back home with my parents in France. Nice. And it had been like 5 months since I had been home, like for more than 1 day.
Yeah.
And then I get home for the first time in like five months, and literally a week later, it's like
everything shut down.
You're not leaving your home for anything for a year.
Yeah,
we didn't know that yet. We didn't know that yet, but yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was like I was actually had put out an album and was playing out at a place in Worcester, Massachusetts called Ralph's Rock Diner, and literally the following week everything got closed down.
It's so wild. It's like going from one extreme to the other. It's like you're at a show, you're fucking talking to people, and it's like, yeah, we're having a good time. And it's crazy to think about that. COVID was already like floating around at that time.
Yeah, it was like we didn't even realize it, like, because it was hitting areas back in like around Thanksgiving time of 2019, and nobody just knew what it was. And then all of a sudden,
nobody knew.
3 months later, shut it down.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
Crazy.
Now,
and, yeah.
Oh no, you were saying?
No, it's all good. Move on.
Oh man, so like, now you ended up taking a break from Dragged Under, and you're now doing a little more designer disguise and a little more engineering production work nowadays.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess what I was gonna say is, like, underneath all of this is that I also have like a lot of health stuff, where I'm very, like, my immune system is extremely weak. So I was like, when we were talking about how COVID was floating around, I was like, I could have gotten fucked up.
Oh yeah.
if I had gotten COVID, but ultimately, that tour, as fun as it was, like, brought to the surface just a ton, like, all these like health things that I have, which, I mean, we can get into if you want, but I don't.
Oh, absolutely. But it's an open forum, man, and if it makes you feel any more comfortable, I'm current. Like, I was dealing with lupus and Sjogren's, which are two autoimmune disorders that kind of coincide and interlock with each other.
Right. So you get
on the regular. So when you said, like, when you said that, it hit home for me too, because it's like, I'm doing better now. My body's healing itself, and I've found different ways of taking care of myself. But for a while, it was very difficult, not only to just function, but also if somebody else is around me was sick, I was going to get sick regardless. So like that COVID scare was exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I basically, that tour showed, like, because I pushed through that, and it wasn't good for me, and it wasn't great for everybody else involved, because I was just like tired and irritable, and
oh yeah,
we made it happen. But yeah, I was like, all right, I need to chill. And I mean, it's like, and they were like, we got stuff going on. We're going on. We got so many cool tours and shit lined up. Like, we're not stopping. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable on both sides. Once you've got that momentum, you want to keep it, because once you lose it, it's difficult to kind of regain it. But you also have to be able to, the first things first, your own personal health and your own self-care is more important than any band. And that's kind of something that I discovered through the years too. You know, like you have to be able to say, hey, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to refocus my energy on letting my body and my soul heal, and then I'll figure out what comes next, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. So I had to, like, I didn't want to, but I had to. Yeah. And so to get, I guess, to explain it a bit more is, in 2016, I had leukemia.
Oh, wow.
Which that's it. That was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, as part of the treatment, I got a bone marrow transplant, which was just like a hard, like, they like wiped my bone marrow and like my immune system. And I got a transplant of somebody else's, like, stem cells to grow a new immune system, essentially. But it's somebody else's, like, immune system cells and everything. And so, most of what I have to deal with these days is called graft versus host disease. It's just basically the new immune system, like, finding stuff in my body that's just my body, but it's like, hey, this shouldn't be here, and then starts to fight it.
So your body's kind of fighting itself in a sense.
Right. And so basically anything can, like, have problems. And so every case of GVHD is different. And I've had, like, many forms of it in the past 4 years. But it's just basically stuff like that. Like, right now I have a bunch of muscle cramps that make it hard to do a lot of things, including play guitar.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's we're all on a health journey that goes up and down. Right now, mine's going up, which is great.
And I'm glad
It
to
was
see
down
that,
for a
man.
while, so you know,
Yeah.
we all only know our own experience and like how we are relative to how we've been before. So all I can say is I've been a lot worse, so I'm doing good right now.
I'm glad, and dude, that's awesome to hear. Because I remember I had thought I had heard something at the end of 20, at the beginning of 2020 that there was some health issues or health concerns, and I'm glad you're doing better, man. I'm glad that you're taking care of yourself and you're on the incline and ascending up again.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, man.
Yeah.
Now I want to talk a little bit of gear, just because I'm a bit of a gearhead and a gear nut, and I always love seeing what other players and musicians have and stuff. I saw this video of you playing this custom James Valentine guitar back in
Oh.
NAMM, and I was like,
Oh yeah, that one was just the one that was just for NAMM.
just
I
for
didn't
NAMM,
get
but
that.
oh, I was like, oh,
I have a different Valentine, but yeah.
well, I'm gonna have to see that one too. Then.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Yeah,
It's in the rack
yeah.
back there.
Yeah, if you want to start showing them off some of the guitars, I would love that, man. And I know the audience would too.
I'll grab that one.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, it's the guitar that I played in all like wait, was that too? Could you hear any of that? This is the guitar that I played for all of the Dragged Under stuff.
Oh, that is awesome.
So it's the butter. I forget what the finish is called. The white Valentine model.
Yeah, it looks like almost like a buttercream finish there, with like you can see.
That's the word.
All right.
With it's got the like the flame maple neck.
Nice.
The Ernie Ball flamed maple necks.
Yeah.
Are like, in my opinion, the best out there. There's nothing like it.
Oh, really?
They're like it's like the perfect shape. They're nice and smooth. It's something about the roasted maple makes it just like stable. These guitars are wildly. They just like stay in tune. Like we would pull up like there's no Evertune or anything. There's locking tuners, but we would like finish a show, like put the guitars in cases, pull up at the following show, like take them out, start tuning, and it's like most of the strings are still there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for our audience, usually when you're on tour, when you're on the road playing shows, you're going from city to city, and that temperature and that barometric pressure is changing, and that is shifting the way it affects the wood. And so tuning stability is crucial. So when you have a guitar that's ready to go right out of the case, so you can play the show without having to make any drastic alterations, that's a gimme. So shout out to Ernie Ball Music Man for making amazing guitars, man. That's awesome.
Some of the best in the world. My favorite, but that's subjective. But objectively, also still one of the best in the world.
Oh, absolutely, man. That is a sick looking guitar.
And there's stock. It comes with a humbucker and a single coil.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like it. There's this single coil in the neck that looks like a humbucker, but it's a single coil. Yeah. But Fluff actually put Will Adler signature Fishmans in here.
Oh wow!
Active pickups. So I mean, to play Dragged Under, you gotta have some loud guitar.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're sick. I mean, I love Lamb of God.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it's halfway between a Seymour Duncan JB and an EMG. It's like it's got nice. That like mid like aggressiveness of the JB.
Yeah.
With the like just pure gain of an EMG.
Yeah. See, I always love that about like, you know, for me, I always had trouble finding that with active pickups, that middle range. Like the top and the low end were always good, but I like that middle range growl that kind of breaks through. Like, so like I used to go with more of a passive pickup. So like, and I tried like the J before. I tried some Motor City pickups, some bare knuckles, and I've heard great things about the Fishman pickups with the Willie Adler ones,
they're awesome.
and the newer Fluence models that they put out too. I've heard great things about too. I'm gonna have to check those out.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, all the Fishman pickups I've tried are sick. These are great. These are great. The Twisted Bossy ones are great. The fucking, I mean, oh yeah, they're all amazing. I have another guitar with the moderns in it. Those are sick.
Nice. Now, with the one thing I noticed that the Fishman offers that a lot of companies didn't initially was they actually offered a USB charging plug into the back of the guitar.
Yes.
Because sometimes, like, and that was another issue that I know a lot of players that I worked with and that I played with the guitar. Some of the guitar that I played with is sometimes you leave the jack in, or sometimes you just run out of juice at a certain point, and once those EMG batteries are dead, it's like you're playing like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I had the kit with both the battery thing and the USB thing.
Mhm.
I actually chose to put the battery thing in because I tried the USB one,
Yeah.
and it's really convenient for charging it.
Yeah.
But there's really no way to tell how charged it is.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so it's like if you're at home and you can just kind of like plug it in to charge whenever you want, it is so convenient. But for touring, I found it was I had more like peace of mind, just like tossing a new battery in every few shows.
Yeah.
Like this is never running out. I don't have
Okay.
to worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it
That's just
absolutely does.
how my brain works.
Yeah, I mean, it's but that's just it. It's a different perspective. Like I know people who would rather just plug it in because they're like, oh, it's charged and it's charged. But then other people are like, well, kind of like you're saying, it's like, how charged is it? Is it going to last me the next show or two? You know?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like because you show up and you pull. It's like you pull the guitar out and you have to go. You can't like plug it in to charge it if it's out.
Yeah.
So if it's the battery, you can just pop a new one in. But if you have to like, all right, guys, wait, I gotta charge my guitar.
Yeah.
It's like that doesn't really work.
That's awesome. Now, do you have any other Ernie Ball guitars that you're playing?
No, that's the one. I have a Stingray bass, but that is currently not here.
And you also had this like I know you mentioned you had this really 6/7 string that you were going to show me, and
Dude.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. But do you have that green Jericho Telecaster baritone looking guitar that I've seen you play a lot?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Let's show the audience that thing, because for anybody like on my channel, people know I'm a green guitar guy.
Oh yeah.
So for me, I always ask when I see a guitar, the first question I always ask is, yes, but does it come in green? And yes, it does. Yes. I love it.
So I got this guitar in 2015, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Back then, it was the only thing I could find with like this set of specs, essentially, where it's like a baritone scale 6-string.
Yeah.
And it's like that seemed I feel like now it's pretty normal to have like baritones out there.
Yeah.
But even like 5-6 years ago, it was like this is the one thing that I could find that I could afford. And it's sick. Jericho does a lot of these like kind of, I don't want to say weird, but very like specific instruments.
Yeah.
A lot of them being like one of the really cool things is that they offer basically all of their models. You can choose whether you want it in Gibson scale, like 2475,
yeah,
like Fender scale, or baritone.
Yeah, and the Fender scale is like a 25.5-inch scale too.
Yeah, and this
that's awesome.
They do this weird thing where the baritone scale is 26.9, not 27. It's a strange, a weird choice. I really can't tell the difference, but whatever they wanted to do. And this one, it came with a JB and a 59.
Yep,
which I loved. And right now I have the Fishman Moderns in here.
Oh, nice.
They're aggressive as hell. I love it. It really helps cut through with like, because you got to put some pretty thick strings on here. We're playing because Designer Disguise plays this. This is for drop A. I got that 7-string I was talking about because a lot of the new album is in drop G.
Oh, gee, wow. I almost said OG, like it was like, but
yeah,
that's hilarious.
I do like low tunings sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so sick. It's like the perfect mix of it was like a perfect mix of a Les Paul and a Telecaster and baritone, because basically it looks like a Telecaster, right? Like in terms of the body shape,
exactly.
but like everything else about it is more of a Les Paul. Like it's heavy as hell. It's like a mahogany body.
Yeah. With a nice
it's
little
got
maple cap there.
It had the JB and the 59, which are like
Yep.
the
That Les Paul
classic,
sound.
like put into Les Paul pickups. It has the like four knob, like wired like a Les Paul with like the three-way switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Les Paul in spirit, but looks like a Telecaster.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Like, perfect mix of everything.
Yeah, baritone, Tele, and Paul.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect, man.
And
that is
I got
beautiful.
It's with like a really nice flammable top. I love green too. Yeah. I
love it, man. All right.
They don't make these anymore, and I'm gonna keep it forever.
Yeah, man. It's by the so for me, it was like, yeah, it's very hard to find green guitars too. So like whenever I see one, I'm like, do I want this? So I always kind of have to like rein myself in, because it's like I want to get it. Like, no, hold on.
One funny thing too though is I love green guitars. But we've shot 3 videos now, music videos, where we want to do green screen things. And,
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna bring my guitars. It's so sick, and I was like, wait, it's gonna literally disappear.
I have a green screen behind me, and I made that mistake once and only once, where literally the shirt disappeared into the background.
Oh, it's a floating Alex.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I had to like zip up a hood, put on my hoodie and zip it up when I realized it was like, oh no.
Oh, that's hilarious. The hoodie just like appears on the screen.
Yeah, it was like, hold on a second. So then the rest of the body just shows back up.
Materializes.
Yes, like Ghost Dad.
That's so funny.
Now you said you had this 7-string. I'm really excited to see it, man. Oh wow!
It's one of the new LTD Arctic models
with an Evertune bridge.
It's an Evertune. So that was one of the main things that I was looking for in a new guitar. Was I wanted an Evertune for drop G. Like I wanted it to be able to handle drop G without going wildly out of tune, because I was trying to do it with the Jericho 6-string, and it's just like not doable. But yeah, it's like this one is kind of the opposite. It's basically just it's very bare bones. Like it has one bridge pickup, which is an EMG. Didn't think I would like it because haven't been a huge fan of EMGs in the past, but this one's cool. It works in this guitar. And it also doesn't come stock with an Evertune. This is one of the guitars that you can buy like straight from the Evertune website.
Oh, nice.
Where they source it from ESP or LTD or whatever, and they install it and they ship it from their place. So it's technically it's technically aftermarket, but I also never saw it without it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like I love how clean it looks. It's one knob, one pickup, no like fret markers or anything. Just straight riffs.
Dude, that is awesome. And when you have that tuned to drop G, you said?
Drop G, yeah.
That is crazy. I love it.
There's so many cool things about the Evertune. This is my first guitar with an Evertune.
Yeah.
And we've been recording the new album with it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It stays perfectly in tune
That's what I was just
when
gonna
you
ask.
when you change strings, you don't even have to like readjust anything. You just like take the string off, put the new string on. You don't even have to do that like stretching thing. It just
Really,
goes straight into tune.
that is so cool. Like for me, that was one of the questions I always had about Evertune is like, does it really hold up the way like a lot of these guitar players are saying? Because it's like a lot of people like have them in and they're like, I don't have to worry about again going city to city, playing different venues. That temperature thing, it just stays in tune.
Literally, it's yeah. I was kind of skeptical too. It's freaky because I mean you can set it so where you can't bend,
Mhm.
and so you're just like you do this wild bend, and it's just one note.
Oh
And
wow.
when you like when you like tune your guitar, you can tune it to where like the tuner just like the thing just like stays down the middle.
Yeah.
Like it does usually it's like all right, it goes a bit sharp and then it goes a bit flat. It's just like only just the green light. It's a marvel of technology. I don't understand what they did here. It's
I
pure
don't either, but
sorcery.
it's been something that I've been meaning to check out, and you've kind of just reaffirmed for me that hey, it's time to check it out and get one.
I mean, you gotta have one at least for. I mean, I was gonna say recording, but shows too.
Yeah,
You don't have to worry about being out of tune. That's honestly, I feel like that's all. I have nightmares about it, or where I'm like, I think I'm playing great on stage, and like one of the strings is like a half step sharp or something. And
yeah.
everybody's like, what is going on? That's like,
Well, everyone's had that nightmare show too, man. I've had that with other band members too, where it's all of a sudden like somebody yells, "Your bass is out of tune!" And like, and I wasn't playing bass, but I knew who was playing bass, and it was like the
yeah.
bass player like just shrunk into the corner.
Oh,
Uh,
oh no, oh no.
so like when you're saying that it hits home. Like I've had live shows like that where someone was out of tune.
Oh man.
Uh,
Yeah.
Now, what's your holy grail piece of gear? Because you've got some really awesome guitars there with the Jericho and the Ernie Balls and the LTD. But what's that one piece of gear that you kind of lust after? And that's like if you were to find it, like this is the guitars, this is the piece
Hmm.
of gear.
I don't know. It's funny because I feel like I used to like be all about gear,
Yeah,
and um it might be just kind of now that I have nice things, I'm not lusting as hard anymore.
yeah,
But it's like it's no, it's weird because every time I see a sick piece of gear, I'm like, oh my god, that's fucking awesome. I want it.
yeah,
But there's also not like something that I really need, you
yeah.
know.
Need versus
Uh,
want. I hear you.
so that I'm not like, oh, this that one like I'll do anything with anything at this point. Like
Nice.
every there's I mean also I think it does speak to how good like the standard has been raised because it's like back then like when we first started playing guitar like everybody was playing those fucking spider amps
Hmm.
the line 6 spider amps
Oh yeah,
and those were you could like get a few usable tones out of it but for the most part nobody knew what they were doing and it always just sounded like absolute shit um and so there was like a level up like where we're like okay I got like a nice amp now it's basically impossible to fuck it up um um that first big amp that chased was a 6505
nice.
I was like I gotta have it and then yeah it was like 4 years into playing I was like I got the 6505 plus head
That's
and was
awesome.
like this is it I've made it
And for our audience,
um
that's a PV 6505 head.
that's right
They're uh, PV used to make some really quality amps and heads, and their guitars were okay, but they were more well known for their amps. You know, doing the original Eddie Van Halen 5150s and 5152s and the 6505
yep
heads. Yeah.
yeah but I feel like these days like the bottom level is still really good. Like
Oh yeah.
you get free amp sims from the internet that sound decent. Like
Yeah.
every practice amp, like the Boss Katana, I think that's the probably the now version of the Line 6. It's like the cheapest one that you get is like this little boss katana head. Those things sound great.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, they do.
the-
Like you have like a bunch of different options, kind of like that you can program and put in and stuff.
So yeah, I feel like the overall level of gear has raised to where I'm like, I'll play anything. Honestly, I can't think of something off top that I really want right now because I've spent the past like few months basically looking for this guitar.
So maybe it was that for the time being, yeah.
But actually, no, that's not true. I know what I want. I want an actual Strat. I don't own like I just probably just like even just straight up like an American Pro or something.
Nice.
Just like a solid Strat. I don't have that. Well, I need that.
Nice. That's a good piece of lust gear right there. That's awesome.
62 reissue or something, just like maple board
with a little light aging on the paint, so that the wood breathes out easily.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
I love it. I know, man. Oh, that's awesome. Now, Josh, as our time is starting to wind down, what are you currently working on?
So right now, we're halfway through tracking the Designer Disguise full-length album, which we've been working on over like writing and everything over the pandemic. So that's like a lot of my time. I'm also doing producing work. Like that's been my full-time job for the past few years, which I'm so grateful for. It's been awesome. Right now, I'm producing an EP with a band called Nova Fracture. I'm about to make a full length with a dude called Jake Bonesteel. And some like singles here and there with other local bands. Yeah, just a lot of. I'm finishing mixing an album with another local band called Ethereal. 12 songs of progressive metal, great stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, it's got a lot of stuff lined up. I'm gonna go make an album with another local metal band called Vesuvian, doing like symphonic metal stuff, which is awesome. I love that stuff.
Cool.
Lots of metal.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Now, is there anything you want to plug and promote before we wrap up?
I mean, check out my band Designer Disguise, I guess. We have a show coming up on November 26th, if anybody's in the Seattle area. It's gonna be at El Corazon with our friends in Avoid.
Wonderful.
And I mean, it's like we're like halfway, we're like in between cycles right now. So like I want everybody to hear the new album, but it's not gonna come out until like probably like early I don't know, like sometime late spring next year, something like that. That's what we're aiming for.
Nice.
But until then, I mean, check out all the music that we do have out. Designer Disguise. Dragged Under. Yeah.
And we'll have, by the way, everything that we've been talking about here with Designer Disguise, Repose, Dragged Under. We're gonna have Josh's also YouTube channel. So everything we've been discussing, all the links are gonna be in the description section of this video. So go ahead, click it, show some love for Josh and Designer Disguise. Josh, thank you so much for making time for me, man. This has been awesome. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been awesome.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, everyone. Be light and love.